Arsenal 3, Southampton 0. I think the biggest talking point was Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang being banished from the squad. I want to get to that in a second. Out of respect for an excellent Arsenal performance, 3 goals and all 3 points, Janusz.
Yeah, I mean, here we are again with Arsenal, right? I mean, they are beating the teams they're supposed to beat. They've been having troubles, with the top teams, and this was a good performance, I suppose, because Arteta's name unchanged team, right? So there's a justification to that, because after that disappointment against Everton, right, you would have thought that maybe there's going to be a lot of changes. It wasn't a good performance. It was a very late loss as well. And, when that happens, coaches very often do that. And I wonder if he wanted the players to redeem themselves a little bit, right? It's just one of those saying, okay, I'll give you an opportunity. The games are now every 2 or 3 days. This is the best time. This is our home. So fair play to Arteta, because he did that. He allowed the players, as I mentioned, to redeem themselves. And then he was also justified in dropping his captain, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang.
In a second, we'll get to that. I just want one mention about the opening goal. What a super team goal it was, resulting in Saka setting up Lacazette.
Yes, somebody told me on Twitter that this was muscle memory, and it stuck with me because it's true. It's few and far between these days. But yes, we often expect Arsenal when we talk about Arsenal and how disappointed we have been with the club in the last 2 or 3 years. Every so often they give you that sort of goal, and yes, it was sensational. I don't know, it was 4 or 5 players, started all the way back with Ramsdale, right? Ben White involved, and I think Partey, Odegaard, Tomiyasu. And Saka as well, and it was just beautiful to watch. And of course, it reminds us of how great Arsenal once was, because that was happening almost all the time.
By the way, Ramsdale's proving to be one of the signings of the season. Busy, even although Arsenal won by 3-0. Okay, Pierre-Emerick, you want to speak?
Well, I was going to say Willy Caballero played, right? I mean, we have to mention that because Foster and McCarthy wasn't available, and I think one goal, obviously, you could see that he was a bit rusty. You mentioned Ramsdale.
Gabriel
Southampton had to deal with some goalkeeping crises.
Yeah, right. Aubameyang, no more Caballero. Had enough of him. So back in March against Spurs, he was late and he was dropped to the bench for the North London derby. Apparently that wasn't the first time that he'd been late. Whatever the decision was, why he was not included in the squad, it was disciplinary reasons, according to Arteta. This is your club captain. Do you need him at the football club if he's going to show this scant regard for the club he's meant to be captaining?
Well, I mean, in a situation like this, you often want to give your captain benefit of the doubt. How often and how much patience Mikel Arteta is going to have, that remains to be seen. This is not just your captain, but this is the highest paid player on the team, right? Talking about over £350,000 a week. And although money doesn't matter, discipline is discipline. If you're the highest paid or the lowest paid, there's certain rules within the team that you can't breach. And that has happened not for the first time, as you have mentioned. So this is a real issue, because it comes on top of as we said, we don't know what was the reason, but it comes on top of the fact that he hasn't been playing well since he signed that contract. I don't remember last time Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang has put together 2 good performances, right? So it's difficult to justify that to the rest of the team. Let's not forget, you've mentioned he's the captain, but this is a very young team. This is a team. There are a number of players that have looked up to Aubameyang in the past and even in the present as well. So a real difficult situation for Mikel Arteta, and I think he's handled that right.
Is Aubameyang now surplus to requirements because he's an unnecessary distraction at the football club?
At the moment, absolutely. That doesn't mean that he's going to leave. Well, first of all, I don't know who's going to buy him. We've just mentioned the salary that he's making, but forget all of that. At the moment, he's underperforming on the pitch and off the pitch, as we're finding that right now. So there's going to be a long road for him, because he's going to have to swallow his pride a little bit. I wonder, he was pouting a little bit by the fact that he didn't start the last game against Everton as well. He was pouting about the fact that there was another player, I can't remember at the moment, who came on as a substitute before him. So that's probably part of the reason here. There may be others, but he's a player that, his body language certainly is not good. It's never been great, at least for me. So yes, I mean, right now, there's probably not a reason for Arteta to give him a chance.
Finally, I want to speak to you as a former player regarding this topic and how that Mikel Arteta has handled this. If you're one of his teammates in the dressing room and your captain shows scant regard for rules, regulations, or whatever the manager has said, are you fully behind the way that the manager has dealt with this because he's refusing to be stepped on, even though it's his club captain?
Yeah, I think on the surface, because we don't know why that's happening. Maybe it's all on Arteta, so I don't know, but it doesn't look that way. But yes, as a player, I would appreciate that because you kind of want everybody to be on equal footing, right? I mean, you understand as a young player, as a teammate, that he's a special player or was a special player. You also know that he's not playing well. Right. So you don't really want favoritism. The big stars will get that benefit of the doubt once or twice or three times the way they play. But when on top of that, you have discipline issues right now, it doesn't sit well with a lot of players in the dressing room. So I suspect that maybe quietly some of these players are nodding towards Mikel Arteta saying, fair play to you.
Arsenal played well. They scored 3 goals. They won 3 points. But the headlines will be made by a club captain that was dropped for ill discipline.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.